G'day friends, welcome to today's YouTube video. My name is James. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. Today I'm going to go through the September set of printables for Collage Club 2022 September. The first page of 5 we have Peter Pan, Princess and the Frog, and Pinocchio. Those were the 3 themes for our Virtual Voyage 7 art journaling workshop that was themed Upon a Star. We had a fabulous time. Thank you to everyone that was there. For everyone that was there, you actually do have your minis downloads at the end of the course. I wanted to give this to people who weren't a part of the course, but were inspired by it and really enjoyed the visual imagery that you all shared on social media throughout those very quick 4 days. So I felt like I'd put together a little minis sheet for Collage Club. So that's what this is. I don't know if, I think everything on here is on your minis sheet. You might want to double check, but I'm pretty sure it is. So this is just a way for us to share that with our wider community that really enjoyed your work as well. I know many people enjoyed the course, and we had a bunch of people join after the fact as well, which is a testament to you guys and your sharing. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. So this is Virtual Voyage 7 themed. Then we have a theme that kind of popped out at me. I don't know if you remember me saying a few months ago maybe that I was creating a big file in Photoshop, and every time I found images that I liked or I wanted to use in Collage Club, I would put them into this big file so that if I saw a theme emerging, I could just pull them out. Well, this is one of the themes I saw emerging. And this is, I mean, the theme is not really a theme, but it's very neatly drawn graphite images. that was the through line between all of these pieces, which I have to say is not something I pull together often. So I figured I'd put this into a sheet, and this would be a great way to get something a little bit more themed. I have a couple other themed pages in here as well this month, which I really appreciate. These are cutie pie stamp sets that I did. This was from an old Patreon illustration. This was a collage, and then it was an illustration that kind of pulled it all together. A few eyes from Virtual Voyage 3, the Pan-Pacific makeover, I think. And then a few stamp set. I was testing out proportions for these, but yeah, really, really happy to give you something more finished. I say that, you know what, in my head, I never give you anything finished, because in my head it all looks like this, like my sketchy, like loose watercolor scribbles and stuff like that. But then when I look at it, I think, no, these are fully finished pieces. Like, there's lots of fully finished things. So I don't know why in my head I don't give myself that credit, but you know, I think it's because I feel like I rarely do this. I feel like I'm always scribbling and drawing, but to sit down and actually complete something with a degree of finish and, you know, precision, that's kind of rare for me. So there's just less of that, I guess, but you have it in your sheets this month. And then another sheet that was kind of themed that jumped out at me were boys. This is not even the only one that I got to do. I think there's 2 other ones that are still in progress that I've been fiddling with the layouts for. So you might see those in the coming months. This was the first page that I put together. You got a whole bunch of stuff here. Stuff from my Japan travel journal 2019. Eugene Levy, Miguel from Coco, some self-portrait-y type stuff in there. This was from an old orange grab bag. Who remembers that? That's vintage. Yeah, this is pretty old too. My nephew, Jaiji Juju. Lots of fun little masculine or boys or men or whatever you want to call it imagery, which is also kind of rare for me. I feel like this month is kind of rare stuff from me. I say that and I'm about to get to Tim Burton. Not rare, but I guess this is seasonal. Every time we get around Halloween, it just becomes my Tim Burton appreciation season. So this is a mashup of stuff from Virtual Voyage 2, Burtonville, which I'm so obsessed with, is hands down my favorite Virtual Voyage, I think. That and number 4. I really love the Pixar one as well. And I love number 1, whatever. I can't go into this all the time. Then I find everything that I like about all of them. I have to say, one of the best ones was number 2. And we've been chatting and we've been trying to find ways to do a back to Burtonville type thing. Maybe not this year, who knows, but it's definitely on my mind and something I'd love to revisit again one day. Anyway, these 2 kind of Tim Burton teacup setup things were from an old illustrated insert from Playtest Patreon. If you ever had that Happy Mailer tier and you had the insert that had all it was kind of half-drawn stuff, this was the teapots and the teacups, the stacked page that I had finished in a Tim Burton way. This is from the Style Files, the little Tim Burton pattern blocks, a few little bits and pieces from that course. This was the sketch flicks from Nightmare Before Christmas, as was that. The little animals page that we did. I loved the cat and the rabbit, so I put those on there. And this, I love this border corner piece. I did this for one of the PDFs, like just to put in the corner of the page. And then I had the body of the sandworm going like through the loops. It was like it was spiral bound book, but it was this striped body. I loved this, but I couldn't put the whole body on there. I figured if I just put this on here as a corner piece, you could use that. I know some of you are Photoshop savvy, so you know when you're looking at these sheets, even though you see one piece up here, if you're willing to cut that out and multiply it by 4 on a page, you can create your own border out of stuff like that. So keep in mind that just because you see it on here one way doesn't mean that's the way you have to use it. The imagery is there, and it's a pretty good 300 DPI quality, so it's pretty usable and transformable if you have some of that Photoshop skill. You don't need a ton of skill for it. A lot of stuff you could learn on YouTube pretty quickly, but just thought I'd mention that there, just to remind you guys, if you do already know that, it'd be something to play with. And yeah, lots of good stuff. Oh, Tim Burton, Catwoman, Michelle Pfeiffer, love. Also, source of all my childhood nightmares. The Warner Brothers version, not Warner Brothers version, but Warner Brothers movie world on the Gold Coast. I just saw a TikTok of this, of the Catwoman that walks down the street and cracks the whip. That is the one. That literally, that Warner Brothers Catwoman who walked down the street, cracked the whip, was the reason I was so scared of Catwoman. And they had a ride there, the Batman ride that you would go in, that would take you down with like the Tim Burton version of Gotham City. And that, coupled with the real life Catwoman, that was the source of all of my nightmares that I tell you about sometimes, with Catwoman circling that tower and trying to whip me with that. It's terrible. I was so scared of her when I was younger. Now I think she's iconic, so I love that growth for me. This is a page, the final page, background, just lots of beautiful colors and patterns. This is my current watercolor setup. It's actually a photo of it. The photo is much more color accurate than the scans, even though I do adjust colors in Photoshop just to make them a bit more vibrant and punchy. I've got some pastels here. This is a gouache swatch. This is my old watercolor palette that I think was a scan. So you can kind of see the difference here. It's a little bit more muted and washed out. Especially things that don't scan pretty well are like bright colors, because when the light hits the scanner bed, it has to translate that into a color space that fits on a digital screen. And when you look at a digital screen, you can't really see fluorescent pink or fluorescent yellow or fluorescent orange and green. So if you've got any fluoros, they usually don't look that great. And or things like glitter, like the screen doesn't read glitter that way. It's actually just a piece of reflective metal, right? So the best you can get is it'll show up like a really dark gray dot. So things like that are terrible to scan, but if you take a photo of it, it's usually an easy way to avoid that. You just have to be in a well-lit area. So there's a little tip for you if you're ever trying to do that with your journals and the scanner is not working, just take a photo of it. In any case, that is the last page. These look great on specialty papers, or print them on like transparent papers, tracing paper, vellum, stuff like that. Those work really beautifully. And that is all the regular information for Collage Club. Hopefully you know that by now if you've made it to this point in the video. $5 a month. At any given time, we have 4 months of a rotation in Collage Club. So at this point, it'll be September, August, July, and June will be in Collage Club by the time this goes up. All the months that have been previously go to Etsy, and they're purchasable for $15 per set, so for the month. So I would always recommend that you join Collage Club to get the most value for your dollar, but depending on what you actually want from it, you may just want one of those sets from maybe last year, and that would be worth going to the Etsy for. This is my way to share with you a very tangible piece of my art journaling and what I share with you online on Instagram lives and just on my Instagram, like on the story, on the feed, what I share on TikTok, what I share on YouTube, what I share in workshops, as guest teachers, my own workshops. I love to be able to share this with you because, yeah, I just do. I think it's super fun. I love to be inspired by so many different places and things, and I just think this is a great way for me to stay consistently pouring all of that back out into a community that I enjoy so much. So thank you for being a part of Collage Club. Thank you for listening to all of this rambling in a video. I think I managed to keep it about 10 minutes. I should just speak for 30 seconds to keep this a 10-minute video. I'll just put in an 8-second outro card in. No, it'll be fine. As usual, I print them on glossy sticker paper and cut them with my Silhouette Portrait 3 when it's not being a nightmare to me. And that is everything. I will see you again in October for the next Collage Club video. We'll have lots of Halloween stuff and maybe a little bit of Christmas. There might be a bit of an overlap for me this year. Alrighty, thanks for watching. Bye.